you thought. Oh, something went wrong. Nope, something that's great. I don't know what happened there, but anyway, the other one seems to be working. YouTube is working. Facebook Live. Let me check one thing here, and I see why that's not working. And now that should be about to work as well. And just like that, it is. So again, good morning to you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Wncr-Tv Now as we talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation this morning. It is now 11 minutes past the hour. Of course, phone lines open for you at 252-407-8432. That's 252-407-8432 is the number to call to participate in today's conversation as we again will talk about things impacting our city, our state, and our nation. All in, I say one phone call. Obviously, it's not a phone call that we're on today. It is certainly radio and television and streaming media, which is YouTube and Facebook Live, is where we are this morning. Again, share the Facebook Live video, share the YouTube video, and I'm asking you to do something, and I should do it myself, right? So let me find it as well. I was about to say puppy power. Why do I be thinking about Scooby-Doo? I ain't seen Scooby-Doo and I don't know when. Let me see. Good morning. I haven't seen Scooby-Doo and I don't know when. All right, so got that situated, got that shared and all that good stuff. So what is happening here around our community, around our state? What is going on? And because we talked about yesterday the audit report. I think we finished up the city council committee as a whole. Knowing that we get into the budget season, that's something that we always do every year. Talk about the city of Rocky Mount's budget process. And we had an interesting one last year, year before last, one of those years. And then you'll be the public comment period about it. People will or will not make comments around the budget. And then we'll move forward with the adoption of a budget. And then we continue business as usual, I guess. But it's always good that citizenry is involved in understanding how the city plans on spending its money. Initially, and then we always know that if you've been following the budget process, that they will adopt and approve a budget. Then throughout the course of the calendar year or fiscal year, I use that word, so we're talking about budgets. Throughout the fiscal year, they will make additions or amendments to the budget as throughout the year. They may be receiving grant dollars or some additional things going on, they require them, or they may spend something outside of the budget. And so one thing they were talking about is the budget impact or where it's coming from and those type of things. And I think that is important to know and note, even for community's sake and certainly for council members' sake, but to say, hey, was this a budget item? Because here we are. We've allocated X amount of dollars for this type of thing, and here's where we are with it. I.e., if we allocated $1 million a year for land acquisition and we're at $999,000 and the next piece of land is $2, do we buy it or do we not? Right. So that would be the question that will be held. And someone say, well, over $1. And again, $1 is just a symbol. It could be any amount. But again, do you go over that or do you say, hey, we need to stick to what we committed to doing? Again, budgets are modifiable, and that's why you can amend them and all this kind of things. And so depending on what happens, it just has to make sense during that process. So we'll see ultimately what was going on. I don't know if I really shared any of Ken Hunter's statements where he gave a conversational piece about, let me see if I can find it. Maybe the first couple of minutes of that may be beneficial to those who are watching, where he kind of gave a where Rocky Mount is, so to speak. And so oftentimes they'll say, oh, we're here or we're there. And I do have some concern about some items that I saw in the fiscal in the audit. We'll see what the city council ultimately have more conversation about it. Maybe, again, I haven't looked at all that they did that day, but here's what when Ken Hunter gets up to talk about the third quarter finances.
Thank you all very much, and good afternoon. This is a continuation of what we have been doing on a quarterly basis as part of Committee of the Whole to give you an assessment of our revenues and expenditures for the current fiscal year, and these are through the end of March of 2025. So over this 9-month period, we have, for the most part, collected over, I would say, about over 95, more like 98% of our property tax through real ad valorem. We've also been able to continue to show on a monthly basis full recording of sales tax, which has helped us have a better understanding of where we are with respect to total revenues as compared to last year. We also did record as revenue the receipt of financing proceeds in March of 2025. Once that financing was closed, you approved it as council earlier that month. That was for capital equipment purchases. One thing we have noticed is that while interest rates have gone up, we have seen some decline in the rate of return, as well as, of course, with the issues with fund balance that has, of course, reduced our deposit some, which has resulted in declining interest revenues. We have been able to achieve a reduction in the rate of growth with respect to general fund expenditure activity, and I want to be clear because the numbers will show that there is growth compared to last year, but we've been able, especially in the last 6 months, been able to reduce that rate of growth. We've also seen growth in sales revenues with respect to our utilities of electric, water, and sewer, which is helping to improve their financial position as we come to the close of this year. We've also come to the end of the winter heating season, and that is primarily reflected already through the third quarter, but we do expect additional revenues in the month of April related to March sales. In terms of our overall budget, you can see that we have been able to achieve revenue growth in most of our annual operating funds, 14% in the general fund, 6% in the Powell bill fund, as well as 4.6% in electric. We have seen a reduction in gas, and I'll talk a little more about that here in just a second. Water and sewer have also increased, and we did, of course, approve rate increases as part of this year's budget. We have noticed a small decrease in stormwater, and that's more related to some grant activity. On the expenditure side, we have seen a 12.7% increase in expenditures so far this year, but it is trending below the rate of revenue growth, which was not the case last year. On the Powellville side, due to the fact that we are not currently engaging in a resurfacing project, we've been able to reduce our expenditures this fiscal year. We have seen some growth in electric expenditures and gas expenditures. Some of that's tied both to capital as well as wholesale energy cost. On the water and sewer side, the 24.6% increase, that's tied to a large extent to the capital outlay. The reduction in sewer expenditures is tied to a reduction in capital activity at present. There is some capital activity that will be occurring in the final quarter. And on the stormwater side, 58.9% increase. That is due to capital outlay as well as some increased operations in response to the needs of our residents here in the city. I do want to take this opportunity to focus in on some specific general fund revenues to kind of give you an idea of where we anticipate those revenues closing out the end of this fiscal year based on performance at the end of the third quarter and some other information that we pull based on 12-month horizons as well as data trends over the last couple of years. In the current fiscal year, for current year ad valorem real estate property tax, we budgeted $28.6 million. We are anticipating a little under $30.4 million. We've already, as of the end of March, we've collected just over $29.5. So you can see we've still got about $850,000 still to collect between now and the end of June. And this is primarily due to the fact that the final valuations for property in our city were higher than what was presented to us by the counties when we set the tax rate in the spring of this year. And I believe I talked about that some during the first quarter report.
Do you know what eating cabbage can do to your heart?
Well, look at that commercial coming in there. But anyway, so I was looking at that situation there as it relates to the current or key current general fund revenue performance. And going back to that screen there, and the adopted budget was $28,600,000, and by the end of third quarter, it was at $29,539,000, and they projected to be by the end of the year, which would be June 30th, at $30,386,000, which would give them an additional $1.7 million in revenue. Okay. If I'm looking at this correctly, and you see it on your screen, again, the adopted budget was $28,600,000. So that meant they expected to only receive that amount of money in ad valorem taxes. And by the end of March, maybe they collect some ad valorem in April, it may be collecting some in May, and may finally collect some in June. But even at that, they are at $29 million by the end of March. Let's just use those figures because those are actual dollars that they have noted to have received as it relates to ad valorem, and that is property taxes for the city of Rocky Mount. And so even at that, they're $939,000 above that. And so then, if that being the case, where is that money sitting? Do they automatically say, okay, we're going to go ahead and transfer that to fund balance because this is money we won't expect to receive, or we're going to keep in our main operating account? What is the practice? What is the policy associated with that? Because if they are saying we're going to live within our budget of 28.6, then you almost got $1 million there, and as much as 1.7 million that'll come by the end of the fiscal year that was unbudgeted income that should be able to go to fund balance. Or I get it, there's some cost overruns. They talked about that with capital outlay. Then the question is how was that paid? Was it paid by financing the debt, or the capital outlay? Was it paid by cash? And so those are some things to kind of look at as well. And that's just ad valorem tax, right? And so then you look at the budget for vehicle tax. They were looking at 3.2 million. They're about $1 million shy on that right now, though. So they're at about 3.2 million, and they're at about 2.2 million at the end of March. They're still projecting to be at 3.6 million by the end of the year, well over their vehicle tax projections. And of course, if you're going to drive a vehicle with the correct tags on it, you're going to pay your vehicle tax. Local auction sales tax, they project to be a little lower than what they anticipated there. And again, I think some of that he talks about, which is some refunds relative to Nash County. So that'll be something to kind of look at as well. And then you got your electric sales tax, which again, they budgeted about 3.9 million. They're at about 3.1 right now, with anticipating getting about 4.2 million. So when you look at all of the potential monies that they are going to go over budget with, which again, you build a conservative budget with the goals of collecting more revenue than you anticipate earning. Thusly, you shouldn't have an issue in which you are in a deficit. That is the ideal plan. And again, for the years I've been knowing the city of Rocky Mount, during their budget, they've been doing it that way. And when we start talking about how there was this use of fund balance, and it's gotten lower and lower and lower, the question then becomes, how did it get that way? What were those items that were paid out of fund balance to get you in a position of your fund balance being lower than it normally is? So that would be the situation or concern that I would have in regards to that. So that's that. That's that. But anyway, so we saw that, and again, he was going over that again. I can go back to it because it did kind of get broken up with the commercial break that they put in there on the thing.
You can see there's a little bit of a delay in collections, and that we currently have it around 2.2 million, 2.6 million. We had actually reduced this number because the rate itself had reduced and we were not sure how vehicle values would change. But based on the information we have available, we anticipate collections as of the end of the year being at around $3.6 million. Local option sales tax. One of the items that did come up in the ACFR was that we did underperform with respect to budget last year in sales tax collections. That was primarily due to collections that disbursement that we received from Nash County. Some of that was tied to refund activity, which is hard for us to forecast and project because of the way the state does it. Right now, based on the information we have available, we had budgeted a total of $19.75 million. And again, this combines both Nash County and Edgecombe County. We're anticipating about $19.35 million. Edgecombe County's contribution, which is around 30% of this, is actually going to meet and exceed their projection. The loss is going to be seen on the Nash County side. There's a separate sales tax. This used to be called the franchise tax for electricity sales. We had adopted a budget of $3.9 million. Based on trends and also information that we've received from the League of Municipalities, based on what they're saying, we anticipate that being just under $4.3 million. Two other revenues just want to mention first with respect to environmental services, and these are all of the fee-based revenues that are collected by environmental services, so it includes weekly routes, commercial, as well as the transfer station. We had budgeted about $9.9 million. We are anticipating coming below around $440,000 at $540,000, I should say, at 9.387. And some of this again is due to some lack of activity at the transfer station. On the event center side, we had proposed a budget of just a little over $2,330,000. Right now, and this is a conservative number because we're kind of at the end of the tournament season. The end of March towards April is kind of the end of the tournament season when we were preparing these numbers. But we are pretty confident that they're going to reach $2,414,000, and it could be more for this fiscal year. So they have met and exceeded their revenue expectations, and we're very.
A vacation with Norwegian
And there's
Cruise
another
Line
commercial.
is so
I
much
wonder is there a
more.
commercial-free YouTube situation there? But again, so we'll wrap it up there as it relates to the report that Ken Hunter was giving, which is the budget evaluation manager for the city of Rocky Mount. And, Lass was talking about the event center potentially exceeding their revenue projections. And then looking at the sanitation or environmental services, should I say, and transfer station rates and collections being a little bit lower than what they anticipated, maybe $400,000 lower. So one thing that Mayor Sandy Robertson mentioned in the conversation Monday was that it looks like a lot of the issues surrounded by spending is in the enterprise funds, in which they are, and I guess that wouldn't be an enterprise fund, a sanitation piece, but it is in the fees and cost of service. And so that perhaps they need to go back and do a thorough review as to what they're charging for solid waste pickup, what's being charged for all of these fees associated with it, so that those situations are at least at a break-even level. Otherwise, they're being subsidized by other means, and thusly putting the city at a situation where it is not operating in the black, so to speak, in those particular areas. And so then you subsidize them by whatever other means you can. It has the most flexible amount of money the city has is its collection of Avalon or property tax, so that it could subsidize those situations. And then, kind of looking at whatever the rate is for, I think they talked about this a little bit about the utility transfers, the admin fees, or whatever they may be calling them. What does those look like? Maybe how you can fine tune those back in a mode of saving dollars going forward. And so hopefully, from what he mentioned by the end of his presentation, was that the budget is near completion, or at least the proposed budget is near completion for the first view of city council members, and he's hoping to distribute that to them on Friday. So that means soon thereafter, there should be available to members of the public as well for its consideration as it relates to the budget. I know some city council members have heartburn sometime about them getting information at the same time. Residents do, or maybe after in some cases. And I get it. You say, hey, you should get it, whatever. And I guess I'm a little bit different from that, in that I would much rather someone, if I was a council person, call me and say, what about this item on page 833 about this, that, and third? I'll say, you know what, I ain't seen that yet. But now that you bring it to my attention, I'm going to look at it because I just got it yesterday or whatever, right? Because I think the more eyeballs, especially interested eyeballs, you can have on a budget document is greatly important. It can expedite the review process. And too often, I think things are missed because of the secrecy that oftentimes, at least, is alluded to or is presented as during that process. And so I think that is greatly important because you have people throughout this community who has time, who has the interest, and the know-how to look through documents and raise questions about various things. And oh yeah, that's something here's why that is what it is. And so it's okay to say you don't know. What is not okay, in my opinion, is saying you don't know and I don't care to know. Okay. That's a whole different situation. Want to say good morning, though, to the following people who tuned in to WNCR-TV Facebook page. That includes William Manley, Melinda Ingram, Candy Staten, Deborah Manning, John Jordan, Evelyn Johnson, Vernice Harris, Deborah Gunter, Gwendolyn Swain, Irma Maxwell, Gloria Brake, Jacqueline Leonard Randolph, Party Smith, Betty Archambault, Allison Williams, and Reginald Manning. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for sharing the Facebook Live video as well. That includes Allison Williams, Deborah Gunter, William Manley, and of course myself. Give myself a pat on the back for sharing as well. So that is something to think about as well. Let's see. And it looks like the Nash County Republican Party is having some continued challenges there. And so we'll see what will come out of their latest situation surrounded by the their actions. I'll just leave it at that because I'm not a member of the Republican Party. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I heard they had a very interesting meeting not too long ago, last night for last, whenever they had it, and so we'll see what ultimately comes out of that. And I think that when those type of things happen, it is, especially close to election time, it actually is a detriment to the Republican Party. Or any party, whether it be Democrat Party going through its issues or Green Party, Libertarian Party, whatever it is, the closer you can work through issues, the better off you'll be. Otherwise, you have a splintered or divided party when those individuals are trying to get elected to a particular office. And so I do know that we talked about it before with the Nash County longtime serving chairman had resigned his post as a chairman of the party. I think they might have went through some type of a election or something in regards to filling that vacancy and maybe others vacancies that occurred as well. And so that's that. And as I know more about them, we'll talk more about it. Good morning also to Andre Smiley. Thank you for tuning in to WNCR-TV Now as we continue to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. One thing I did see over in Ward 4, I think I shared it this morning, and that is Ward 4 Spring Thing. It's going to be family fun, DJ, food trucks, and games. It's going to be this Saturday, May 17th from 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. It's going to be at the Buck Leonard Park at 929 Gray Street in Rocky Mount. Again, that is a Ward 4 Spring Thing. And obviously that we put on by Councilman TJ Walker. Says good weather is on the radar. Bring the kids out. Bring grandma. Bring grandpa. Bring auntie. And bring unc. And bring yourself. It's the annual Spring Fling. Ward 4, Love and Unity Empowerment to fill the park. Again, that's at Buckland Park, just off of Raleigh Road. And oftentimes it's for Ward 4, but any person throughout the city is more than welcome to go to it as well. It is a city-sponsored event. Good morning also to Marvin Bowden, thank you for tuning in to Wncr-Tv Now as we continue to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation this morning. Had not really been looking at what the North Carolina General Assembly has been doing. I know they convened on Monday. Let me look at something as it relates to an update on the North Carolina politics. Things that make you go, All I can say is that. So let's see. It says North Carolina senators to advance a bill that would ban retail sale of raw milk. The North Carolina Senate could vote as soon as tomorrow, which would have been what day this is. So today, as soon as today, on a bill that would outlaw the retail of raw milk. Is a debate that has putting the agriculture and health leaders against passionate raw milk advocates for a long time in North Carolina. It has been illegal to sell raw milk to humans for consumption, but a loophole in the law allows it to be sold as what is called pet milk. Farming leaders say the risk of bird flu makes this the time to close that loophole. Farmers in North Carolina can legally sell raw milk as so-called pet milk as long as it's labeled not for human consumption, but many people drink it anyway. Some believe it's more nutritious than pasteurized milk. However, raw milk can carry all type of diseases like E. coli, salmonella, tuberculosis, the avian flu. And so Senator Brent Jackson said the risk is even higher now that H5N1 or the bird flu has caused human death. And so that is something that the North Carolina General Assembly is looking at this morning. And let's look here. Says that the North Carolina Innovation Ramps grants for UNC will focus on healthcare and AI, transfer manufacturers, add 333 jobs in Wayne County. So the 2-year break. So here it is. North Carolina would need to North Carolinians who need to renew their driver license in the near future could get a 2-year break if a bill moving through the state house this week becomes law. House Bill 821 passed the House Rules Committee on Tuesday afternoon. This uses the last stop for bills to be voted on the House floor. The proposal would give every license holders a 2-year grace period after their license expiration date to renew it. That's interesting. So sponsor Rep. Jay Adams, Republican for Catawba, it says it's in response to the ongoing problems of the State Department of Motor Vehicles, but it's not a solution itself. It simply gives the citizens of North Carolina some relief from the fact they can't renew their driver license, and also relieve the burden on DMV so they can sort out their issues. The bill also includes funds to study the problem plaguing the DMV and come up with solutions. Again, one of the things that the DMV was arguing was that, hey, we have an influx of additional North Carolinians, we'll say, or citizens or residents to North Carolina who are needing driver licenses, who are needing all the work the DMV is doing, but yet there has been a reduction or not additional revenue and hiring positions to be able to get people into position, and perhaps even maybe what they are paying individuals may not be what people are willing to work for these days and times. And so it has created a backlog with the driver's license. And then you've got people who were just running to DMV after many years of knowing you can get the little star on your driver's license or traveling. They all wanted to try to meet that May the 7th deadline. But again, they was having problems way before that as well. So they're looking at that possibility as well when it comes to North Carolina driver's license. What else is happening? I think we talked about Justice Allison Riggs being sworn in. She was sworn in by Justice Anita Earls after that 6-month or so bout of saying, hey, you didn't win type situation. And that's where we are With that, I want to say good morning also to Yvonne Hendricks. Thank you for tuning in to WNCR-TV Now as we continue to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. So what else can we talk about this morning? I did see the text message that someone sent to me in regards to a Rocky Mount Telegram comment there this early this morning, and then got another text message about it just now in regards to comments that people make. I think that sometimes we give life to comments that ordinarily would die if you don't lift them up. And too often we will allow ourselves to feel some type of way, get mad or get angry because of a way a person feels or expresses themselves and all that kind of stuff, right? And at some point, while as hard and as difficult it may be, one has to lift him or herself up beyond some of the ignorant and uninformed comments that people may make. People have the right to be ignorant. They have the right to be stupid. They have the right not to care. They have the right to do all of those particular things. And of course, equally, I could say that you have the right to express your opinions about their thoughts as well. And then the question becomes, will it change anything in you doing so? Or will it move the needle any kind of way, or will it further and splinter a divide? That is some of the thoughts I have about that. And we'll go to the phone line. Say, caller, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bronson.
Good morning.
I am truly glad to hear that budget is in compliance, because the mess we had last year just didn't make any sense. And it appears that somebody is going to work every day and actually working. As far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, each month a meeting should be held with that department and see where they are with the budget, if there is something that needs to be researched, and it can come in on time at the end of the year. So kudos to those individuals who have actually been going in, working, because it was just an embarrassment from what Keith Rogers had going on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, and so there are a couple of things that they still got to work on, and one was reconciling the monthly bank account and things of that nature. And so, I think there was, let me just look, hold on one second. Well, let me do it this way, because if it is up here, then I can just share it this way. Let me see. I don't remember getting anything about it, but hold on. Let's see here. Nope, I don't see anything about that. So anyway, we will we'll see what's going on with that. But hopefully there are some continuations of changes going on with the city of Rocky Mount. I know they are wanting to. One of the comments was saying, hey, we got to be able to fill the finance director position. We've got to be able to fill some of the vacancies that exist in our city, so that we can get back to best practices and put a system in place that will get Rocky Mount knowing what they have. And to that point, if those things were done monthly as they probably should and ought to, there wouldn't be no, I think we're here, we might be here. It should actually be, I know this is the bottom line number, because when we looked at our bank account statement, this is what we had in the bank, right? Hey, caller, good morning. Caller, good morning. So remember, when you do call in, if you will, talk and communicate to me via your calling device and not whatever device you might be listening to, because if you listening on Facebook or YouTube, it may be tremendously delayed. If you're listening via the television, it's about 4 seconds delayed, and so there's no such thing as live television anymore. There was a thing in the analog days. As it goes out, it is what it is, and now with digital media, you are encoding ones and zeros, so that means you have to have an encoder that is encoding what I'm saying at the time I say it. Then it travels through some means. It gets to my decoder at my tower site, and then it broadcasts over the airways. And then for those who are watching via cable, then the cable company, then they pick it up. They got to decode that signal as well, and then get on that cable. So there's a whole bunch of encoding and decoding that goes on that you used to do. It used to just be passed through. Television was passive. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Bronson. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, thank you. I called in, I typed in a flyer some time ago about a Saturday book sale. Is it okay? May I have permission to talk to you?
Go ahead.
Yes, no?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and talk about it. Absolutely.
Thank you. Saturday, May 17th, 2025, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Braswell Memorial Library. We have the Friends of the Library, Friends of Braswell Memorial Library, a public library. We have a big book sale at from 10 o'clock to 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So if you have any questions, you can check with Braswell. And this is money. This is the board. The Friends of the Braswell Library is a board that is a fundraiser for the library. So if you have any questions, please call the library and get information. It's Saturday, May 17th, 2025, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Well, and, excuse me, go ahead.
Oh, no, I said, appreciate the information. You're about to say something else. Go ahead.
Oh, I said, and here it says, please cash or check only. And I haven't, this time it's just check, cash or check only.
There it is. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for allowing us to do this on your program.
No problem at all.
And thank you. And the second thing, Mr. Bronson, I didn't have a chance to, you mentioned something about the driver's license. I do want to know, has it been approved about the 2-year?
Has not. It's just looking to pass the House chamber, then it had to go through the Senate, then it has to, then become law. But no, as of right now, it has not been approved.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Have a good day.
You too.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye. So again, you need more information about the event there at the library. It looks like the library phone number is 442-1951. That's 442-1951 for their event that is going on Saturday with a book sale. Well, that's good. They continue to put the books to good use versus throwing them away, and able to raise some additional funds for Braswell Memorial Library, which that is that Braswell Memorial Library funding. Edgecombe County pays a portion of that. Nash County pays a portion. The city of Rocky Mount pays a portion of their annual budget, and then whatever kind of other monies they're able to raise to keep that library in operation. And what's interesting about it is you see a lot of people from Halifax County, from Franklin County, and other counties coming to use that library. And I always wonder why, what's going on with Halifax County Library or these other counties. But, you ask people where they're from, they say, well, I'm from Halifax County, or I'm from here. And so, again, you do see people from Nash and Edgecombe County using it as well. And that is who is paying to make it happen. And there may be some state funding for libraries, too. I'm pretty sure they are, because they are in charge of the hiring process. I mean, they got to get approved by the state when you're hiring that library director or something of that nature, too. So I'm sure there are some additional state fundings that goes around with the library there. So 50 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour this morning on Wncr-Tv Now, as we continue to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation this morning. We do hope each and every one of you making today a great day. May not be with you tomorrow. So this may be the final show for this week. I'm almost certain I won't be with you tomorrow. So it ain't no may. I'm just thinking right now. Yeah, I probably won't be here tomorrow. So this will be the final show for this week. And so I do hope each and every one of you are having a fantastic day and week. And we thank all those who continue to patronize the restaurant. What is it? 132 South Church Street, downtown Rocky Mount, formerly the old Central Cafe location. We call it Pop's Diner. February made a year of us being open for business. And so we are certainly excited to be able to still stay afloat, still serve people. Again, we're open from 11 to 6. And somebody asked why you open up later, this, that, and third. Consistency is the key. And so we open from Sunday till Friday, close on Saturday. Be thinking about those hours. We got so many different things to be thinking about. But yeah, so 11 to 6, Sunday through Friday, close on Saturdays. There is when we are open. And in light of national news, of course, you know, President Donald Trump is out and about. We'll use that word, out and about, going here, going there, doing different things, and was talking about his welcoming, I would say, and how they had the Tesla vehicles and the camels and all that kind of stuff, to where he is with the meeting with Syria's new leader and all that good stuff. So that is what they're doing. I think Secretary of State Marco Rubio is going different places, trying to this is what I want to talk about here. I forgot about this until I just now see it here. And that is the U.S. Supreme Court is going to be hearing the matters of birthright citizenship. And so the idea of perhaps ending birthright citizenship, right? That's going to be an interesting case to follow. When the majority of Americans oppose ending birthright citizenship, that's going to be really, really interesting. And you don't know what the Supreme Court can do because it's just weird. Hey, Carla, good morning.
Mr. Bronson, and listening to the news and with this airplane that this foreign country is going to give the president, I thought the president could not accept the gift from foreign countries or a gift of certain value.
Absolutely.
So how are we going to allow this?
Oh, we're in a lawless time where presidents have absolute immunity and can do whatever they want to do type situation.
You know, I just can't see that. And, you know, according to Trump, he said, why not accept a gift? Well, number one, it's a foreign country, a country that you do not agree with wholeheartedly, but yet and still, you're going to accept the gift. Something is wrong with that man. I'm going to be quite honest with you. As I stated earlier, he's just a self-serving president. He just wants to get whatever he wants to get out of it. But I just can't see anyone allowing him to accept that gift and use the plane, as he say, while he's in office. Then he will send it over to the Trump library. No. It don't work like that. If that's the case, every president that have been, to be able to go back and get every gift that has been given to them while they was while they were the president. Mm-hmm. I just can't see people allowing Trump to continue to do some of the things that he's doing. It is so unfair. And this world, somebody's going to come back like 9/11. I hate to say it. And it's going to be more devastating this time because they see that we have a weak leader. They see that he can be bought, and they don't care. And based on his attitude, why not accept it? He'll let anything come in. But yet and still, he's fighting the southern border. I don't get it. So we need to think about some of the things that's going on. Thank you.
Thank you. 252-407-8432, 407-8432 is the number to call to participate in today's conversation. But going back to this, it says Donald Trump's push to end birthright citizenship is set to begin to be argued today in the U.S. Supreme Court. In the case that could help further his agenda on immigration and other issues, the court will hear arguments today about whether lower court judges can block presidential orders for the entire country. Trump moves to end birthright citizenship within hours of returning to the White House in January, signing an order that said children who were born in the U.S. to undocumented immigrants are not citizens. 3 federal judges stopped it from taking effect, part of a pattern of the courts blocking Trump's executive orders. Trump contends they do not have the power to issue nationwide injunctions. If the Supreme Court agrees with Trump, then he could continue to use his wide use of executive orders to make good on his campaign promises without having to wait for congressional approval with limited checks by the court system. It's unusual for the Supreme Court to hold a hearing in May, and so there's no indications whether they may rule. Trump's appointed 3 of the 9 justices on the conservative majority court in his first term. Many legal experts say that presidents do not have the power to end birthright citizenship because it's guaranteed by the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution. Even if Trump wins the current case, then he may still have to fight off other legal challenges. And so, that's just crazy. Okay, that is just it's just crazy. That's all I can say. Because why would one think that the president can't be checked by the court system? The court system is not just the United States Supreme Court. It is the court system as a whole. And so it is, and when you're talking about federal judges blocking on lower courts, they are who they are, who has federal jurisdiction. I mean, sometimes I think people just need to go back to basic law school or something. I don't know what they need to do, but I get it. We have fallen so far from legal thoughts and opinions and ideas that we just will go along with whatever the party wants. If the Democrat Party wants this, let's do it. The Republican Party wants this, let's do it. I don't know. Does the Tea Party still exist? If they do, let's do it. If the Green Party, whatever it is, and just leave all thought behind. And I think that's just utterly ridiculous at the end of the day. Because if you end birthright citizenship, does it mean you end it effective today? Is it ended, that it should never been in existence, and so you undo or repeal the Constitution, have a constitutional amendment to undo it and back that everybody who's undocumented? I mean, that's just, I don't get it. I do get it at the same time. So when I say I don't get it, that's a lie, because I think I do get it. But is it right? And some people say, no, it ain't right for undocumented immigrants to be over here and have children over here. Well, that be the case, there were many of undocumented people here many years ago who had children who are now have created citizenship in what we call America. So was it right then or was it wrong then? That's something to think about. But anyway, I'll see you next time on Wncr-Tv Now as we continue to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation, and make it a great and fantastic Thursday. Don't forget, on Friday, we'll have fish at Pop's Diner as well. We have flounders and tilapia there. And we got hamburger steak today. So if you're going by and looking for some hamburger steak, we got that at Diner as well. Caller, good morning real quick.
Good morning. How you doing, Bronson?
Good. We're going to be running out of time, though, so we're going to be real quick.
Yeah, I know, and I know you will be gone tomorrow, so I appreciate everything and hope you're having a good day and have a good weekend. I just want to say, I've been thinking he's doing a good job, foreign policy-wise. Excuse me. I think we're seeing slowly deals and negotiations coming through. We're seeing a renegotiating of the trading market, of how we've been dealing with other countries. He's dealing with countries that the United States haven't dealt with in years. And so I don't think the world sees him as a weak leader. They see him as a leader that they can now build relationships with America. I think he just lifted the sanctions on Syria that's been on Syria for 4 decades now. And so a lot, and I thought a lot of Democrats would be happy that he isn't just bowing or just in complete compliance with Israel and everything, because it looks like Israel and Iran may go to war. And the moves that our president is making is saying, okay, just because you do that doesn't mean we're going to drag ourselves necessarily into those things. And so I like what he said about the days of kind of American interventionists and getting involved in people's countries and trying to make them like us is over. We can just appreciate the cultures and do trade and do business and be, civil, as long as, and I would assume every negotiation is different, because what you would want from Iran as far as their nuclear involvement is different than what you would want maybe from India and stuff like that. So I think he's doing good on the world stage, and I think other leaders are showing that in the fact that they want to, I've always been told you don't reject the gift. Now, he said the gift is going to the Department of Defense, and it's going to be years before they sweep it. So he may not even get to use it, but it is going to the government from what he said. But I think he's doing a good job, foreign policy-wise. It's so different from what we've been used to, and it's refreshing to some extent. And I'm not just trying to, support him because he's my guy or anything, but I do think it's promising to see how we're handling this world where you do have issues with Russia, Ukraine, Pakistan, India, keep naming them, and so I think the fact that he's involved as far as trying to broker peace, even if it comes through economic means, even if it comes through our soldiers aren't going there and going to get involved, but we will want you to have peace, I think that's admirable. I think anybody should like that.
Thank you for your comments. You take care. We'll see you next time on Wncr-Tv Now as we continue to talk about things impacting our state, our city, and our nation. Make it a fantastic weekend, a great whatever else you might be having. And I'll see you next time I'm on the air on Wncr-TV. Anyway, take care.